Hi, welcome back, and thanks for sticking with me through these videos. I hope you're finding them helpful. If you've gone through situations like this, maybe you can relate. Anyway, I think that I finished the last video saying that there was a problem with my being at the new nursing home. And it was the persistent problem of my not knowing who was funding it. I didn't have any money. So I think that the uh, people from the nursing home, like the social worker and others, were working behind the scenes to get a hold of funding sources that I would not have even thought of, like Medicaid. I didn't know what Medicaid was at the time. When I found out, I wasn't too happy that Medicaid was going to be perhaps paying for my stay at the nursing home and at other facilities, and perhaps they had been paying for my services and stay at the hospice house. But beggars can't be choosers, and that was certainly my case. Another problem was that I didn't like having a roommate. Again, beggars can't be choosers. But and that this was me. This doesn't speak very well of me, so I'm still going to tell you what it is, because I don't want to appear like I was a saint. I mentioned that I had a roommate who was paralyzed from the neck down and didn't even had lost the ability to speak. They had to come and give him baths. That was the kind of situation that he was in. But because he liked to play his TV, we had two TVs, one for each side of the room. He had to play too loud. I started having volume war with him, and he was obviously taking up the challenge. So in a very childish way, I kept raising my volume, and he was raising his volume, and I don't know how he was raising the volume. I think someone must have been raising it for him. But anyway, other than that, I had access to an ATM, which gave me some access to some of my banks. I had money in a couple of banks, and I was able to withdraw money which was something that I couldn't do at the hospice house, much less at the first nursing home. So this was a much better situation. Another good thing that was happening, that was that I mentioned that I had made friends with a couple of nurses from the hospice house. But I didn't realize until this moment how they were more than just nurses. I started calling them my guardian angels, because they started visiting me at the new nursing home and bringing me things and spending time with me, and most importantly, taking me out of the nursing home, taking me out for lunch. And that was something that I never thought I would be able to do again. It was just beautiful to just be out of there and be able to actually be in the world, rather than just having to look at the world through windows. I can't tell you how magnificent that was, and how I don't think I've taken that for granted since. It's one of those things that you don't fully appreciate until you lose it. I remember wanting to go. I remember being at the hospice house and even at the first nursing home and watching commercials about Domino's Pizza, for example, and thinking to myself, oh, I would love to go and have some Domino's Pizza. And now my guardian angels took me out and to and we ordered Domino's Pizza and ate it in the car maybe, and then went out for a trail hike. And by the way, I keep forgetting important things in my recovery. I have mentioned that when I was at the hospice house, I had a walker, and I used the walker to go walk around the perimeter of the hallways. And eventually I was able to do away with the walker and walk by myself, which was probably one of the reasons that they graduated me from the hospice house. As I look at it, they kicked me out of the hospice house because I was doing so well and they could see me. They could see me right there. I was not dying, as I was improving. I was not even having to depend on my walker. I was walking around by myself with a nurse or an aide, but I was walking around on my own 2 feet without the walker. So I was able to, my guardian angels were able to take me out of the second nursing home, and we went out for trail hikes. So this was a much better situation. However, remember, I didn't know where the funding was coming from, and neither did anyone else. So I was approached again about where I might go, since I was probably going to have to leave the second nursing home. And I started getting scared again that they were going to take me to, dump me out on the street. And I kept being reassured that it was against the law. I wasn't so sure of that. So I was worried about that. And I can tell you what happened in my next video. Hint, my guardian angels were involved. So I'll see you in my next video.